All right. In this video, I'm going to be going over how to understand the syntax of an APT source. So if you go into etc apt and you go into the sources.list text file, you're going to see this. This right here. What is this? What does this mean? What does all that gobbledygook mean? Okay. So firstly, I need to explain what is the syntax, the arrangement of words and phrases to create a well-formed sentence in a language. All right. So how is this sentence structured? Okay, and we're going to be breaking it down. Firstly, where does this come from? The sources.list text file. Where does all this come from? It comes from the installer, right? When you first install Linux Mint, your operating system comes from the installer and all the files with it. So that's where the file comes from. So so when we look at this right here, we're going to go from left to right. What is hash? This means that the line of text is commented out, meaning that APT just ignores all of the deb, CD-ROM, blah, 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 blah. Okay? This is because APT uses it as a source when installing, but doesn't use it after the install, and instead uses the official repositories located in the sources.list.d directory. Okay. So basically this hashtag right here is telling APT, hey, don't use this. Okay. Now if I were to go in here and I were to edit this, right? I were to edit and save, then it would use it. It would use it as a source, but APT would use it as a source, but we don't want that. Okay. What is deb? Deb tells APT that this is a line of source to get deb files as opposed to deb.src dash src files. So when APT pulls from a source, it can either pull two types of files: .deb files or deb src files, which is deb source code files. So deb right there, the deb at the beginning of the sentence, okay, this right here tells APT, hey, this is for Debian files. This is for not Debian files, .deb files. Okay, what is CD-ROM? All right. CD-ROM tells APT that the repo is flashed to an ISO file on the device's on a device connected to a computer. That could be a CD-ROM, but more than likely is a USB drive. Okay, so the CD-ROM is going, hey, guess what? This repository is located on either a CD-ROM or it's located on an ISO file, which is either a CD-ROM or a USB attached to the computer, inserted into the computer. What is this? Linux Mint 22.1.zia. This is the version that Linux Mint is identifying itself as, right? So this is what the Linux Mint version is identifying itself to APT, Zia being the code name or nickname or whatever of this particular version of Linux Mint. So we can actually go, so this is the USB that I installed Linux Mint with. If we hit Control H, we go to disks, we go to info. This is where it's getting it from, which I thought was pretty interesting. What is release AMD64? This is stating that the operating system, Linux Mint 22.1.zia, is made for AMD 60 is made for a AMD 64 computer architecture. It's stating that the architecture of the computer operating system and what it's designed for. What is what is this? This is a timestamp, 2025 January 10th. This is a timestamp for the build date of the operating system, and what this means is that it isn't the date the operating system was published, but it means that the date that the operating system was compiled from source code. What is noble contrib main? Okay, so if we look at this, we go right here, noble contrib main. Okay, noble contrib main are all software repositories, and if you crack open, come on. you crack this open, go to dists, you can actually see it right here. Noble, contrib, main. Okay. Now, what specifically is Noble? So when Linux Mint 22.1 is based off of Ubuntu Noble Numbat, okay, and every time Ubuntu makes and releases a new Ubuntu version, in this case Noble Numbat, it makes a repository to support it as well. In this case, the repository is called Noble, and you can actually go to it right here, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, and we can actually see it. Here's main, which is pretty neat. Or you could also see it on your ISO file right here. What specifically is contrib? Well, contrib is weird. So contrib is supposed to be another repository. You can find it here on your ISO, but I can't find it anywhere on the internet. So you can find it right here, okay, on your ISO. So I don't know where Linux Mint got this repository. According to this right here, this link, you can click this contrib, which takes you to the Debian wiki, right? And I can't find contrib. Contrib archives, blah, 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 blah. But where is it? Where is it? You know, I keep finding this, but where actually is it? Right? The contrib archive area. Where is it? I don't see it. So I don't know where Linux Mint got it from. But contrib is supposed to be for packages that do comply with the Debian free software guidelines, but packages in contrib depend on non-free packages, or which depend on non-free software downloaded by either the packages or having to be downloaded manually to work properly. What is main? Main is another software repository right there. Okay. You can find it on your ISO file, or you can go find it by going to here. Okay. We can go to Noble, we can type in main, or we can just type in this, which I think is pretty cool. Oh, hang on. Now here's a question: why is Noble Contrib main listed in the repository in the apt line of text source? Okay, why is it here? Why is it there at all? Why isn't it just this? Right? So I can't find an answer for this, or at least I can't find a confirmed answer. That's a good question. I can't get an answer. The closest I've gotten to an answer is that when apt reads the blah 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 blah, the apt line of text source, when installing Linux Mint, it needs that at the end. It needs this to recognize. It needs this at the end to recognize what software repositories to pull from, to be listed to know what software repositories to access. I don't know if that's true, and now the thing is, I don't know if that's true, and I can't confirm it. So nobody really seems to know, and I don't have any Debian apt engineers to call up to ask. So there you go. That's how to understand. That is understanding the syntax of an apt source. Now, if you're able to understand that, you are almost certainly going to be able to understand the official software repository, right? Even if we go right, deb, we know what that is. We know what that is. Noble, main, restricted, and now this all is simple. Okay, so if you're able to read this, right? If you're able to decipher this, you are sure as hell going to be able to decipher this. So there you go. That is your little Linux video for the day.